Nina, where you disappeared to? Don't disappear on me like that, girl. What's going
Did
on,
you?
everybody? We are tuned into the debut. Rub your hands like this, Nina. The debut of our new show, Access Granted. It's your boy,
Hey, welcome back.
Antwon, and I got my sister, my partner in crime,
Your daughter.
my radio offspring. No, not daughter. My radio offspring.
Offspring.
Decided that
Your
that's the way to
seed.
go with that. My
Your
offspring, my radio seed.
seed. That's
Nina,
right.
the original party girl in the building. What's
Yeah.
going on, sis?
Everything. As usual. That's how I always answer it. Everything is everything.
Everything is everything. Love you so much. Miss you like a play cousin. I feel like I haven't seen you in like 30, 40 years.
At least 5-6 months.
At least 5, 6 months. It's all good. But people trying to interrupt. But it's definitely good to be back. I think both of us have been kind of getting this itch lately. Yes. we've been we've been kind of getting this itch lately. And actually I just made a gut decision the other day to just say forget it and go for it. That's kind of the way
Right.
to be happy.
Right.
You said forget
Nike would be proud of you. Nike would be proud of you. You just did
it.
it.
Coming at
Right.
you from the newly constructed man cave. What's going on that side of the camera because it's a construction zone over there. But this
Right.
side is brand new. I told Joe y'all wouldn't recognize it if y'all came here.
Right. So we have to come there.
You have to come, absolutely. Y'all can do the wedding reception here.
I can have some of those delicious drinks it looks like you're drinking. What are you drinking?
This is a little something left over from the birthday weekend. That's all. I'm not gonna get into until we start getting sponsors, we're not gonna discuss what goes in the cup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But what's been going on with you real quick? We have our first guest coming on, well, our guest for the evening coming on in about 5 minutes. So in about that time, tell me what's been going on with Nina, the original party girl. That's
Well,
been on like 12 interviews in the past 2 days.
right. So COVID has definitely changed the world that we're living in. So I have been coming up with creative ways to keep the celebrations going. Of course, in a COVID-friendly type template. Intimate affairs. I started originally with house parties when I started with adults. So now I'm back more into the homes rather than the clubs. Usually about 10 people or less. I also have the Zoom feature, and I have done more officiating of weddings than I have since I started 5 years ago. So it's kind of pushing the celebration factor back into the home, more intimate gatherings with the people that really count there.
Now y'all notice that she said officiating weddings because she can marry you and hook up your wedding reception all at the same damn time. And I'm proud of you for continuing to do that.
Stay above water. You know, we got to do that. Love is, it kind of cuts down on the confusion on the actual wedding because you're going straight to the marriage.
Right. You're like a one-stop shop almost.
Oh, yeah. And I can do that all, and it makes it more COVID friendly because you have one vendor doing a bunch of different services. You don't have to have all these different vendors in your space.
And then you just keep all of the money to yourself. That's the good part about it.
That's the idea. That's the idea.
That's what's up. So,
it's good to see like love, like people that are love. Like you cannot take time for granted. Get it? Granted. So if you really care like that, you love somebody like that, these are the times that you make that commitment and you promise to be with each other to the end of time. So it's a bittersweet situation here, but it's working.
My wife walked in just as you were saying that, and I'm glad she got to hear that part because she stuck with me. So,
oh yeah. And I do things to keep that refreshful. So if you guys need me, just let me know. You have like 4 personalities, so she's technically married to 4 people. That should be fun. That should be fun.
I'll take that. And for people that would like to reach out to you for your services, they can contact you by.
Everywhere. Just say my name and click your heels 2 times. I probably show up, but you can catch me on www Original Party Girl, all the social media platforms, Original Party Girl, YouTube. Help me build my subscribers at Nina, the Original Party Girl. So type it in, it comes up.
We're gonna get on that too, but I see that our guest has entered the building, so we're gonna go ahead and bring her in. All the way from
everywhere.
Right.
I would say outside of Indianapolis by way of Connecticut.
United States, yep.
Yeah, by way of the United States of America and all places in between. Our girl T-Quest is in the building. How are you doing?
Hey, party girl.
Hey, welcome.
Thank you.
She must be the busiest person in the world, but she literally just got off of another podcast about 20 minutes ago.
You know what's so funny? In between that, I just jumped on a Southern Soul event too.
What's the Southern Soul event? What is that?
Well, I'm a part of a DJ coalition, and we have different divisions. And right now, we were just highlighting a lot of Southern Soul artists. So we had an event on Zoom. Well, it's still going on right now. So I had to jump on as the Army member to show love.
See, it was good that I gave you that extra 15 minutes then, right?
Thank you so much, Antwon.
so I had the opportunity to meet T-Quest, what was that, like 2 weeks ago? Me and a few artists from Baltimore, we went up to Indianapolis, Muncie, Anderson, and all places in between, and put on what ended up being a pretty cool little event. And it was funny because I didn't know who she was at first, but she kept standing on the stage and I was getting tired and I wanted to give her my microphone. And she was like, I'm telling you now, you give me this microphone, you're not going to get the microphone back.
Take over.
At that time, I didn't know that you were the Jackie of all trades that was this other stuff. So just start by telling everybody a little bit about some of the stuff that you do.
Okay, I'll do so.
Let's start with just the top 2 or 3 first. We'll tackle that and then we'll move on.
Okay, so first, I am a recording artist, right? So that will be number 1. Number 2, I am a voiceover artist, which is a little different because I do voiceover for DJs, producers, artists, radio businesses, and like audiobooks and cartoons and stuff. And thirdly, I would do a slash. I'm a radio personality as well as a journalist.
So that's too much stuff for me to try to do at
you
like.
I want to be her. We're related.
That's what I've been saying literally ever since I met her. Like, you're doing a lot of the stuff that me and even Nina have kind of been like yearning to do. That's why I said.
Wait a minute, is that Joe Storm?
That's Joe Storm. Yes.
Yo, what a small world.
Like, I know her. She's a DJ. And we're gonna definitely get into that. But let's just go. Okay, let's push T-Quest to the back for a second. Sarah, tell us a little bit about you, the person, not the rapper, the singer, the voiceover, the da-da-da-da. Tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, well, Tara is.
Tara, I'm sorry, I got you.
Okay, a lot of people don't pronounce it properly. Tara is a total sweetheart. She grew up a quiet nerd. School and music was everything. She's very charitable. Always want to put a smile on people's face. She's like a delight. She's a little sweetie, and I rock for her. She's a hard worker, and she just wants to make this world a better place. Kind of like a pageant person. You know what I mean?
I don't know where that person was when I was in Indiana.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Nothing. Nothing at all. So you're originally born and raised in Connecticut?
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about coming up there? First of all, I gotta put this out there because y'all basketball team, the Yukon Lady Huskies, used to give my lady volunteers the blues, and I used to want to fight everybody on the basketball team.
No, violence is never the answer, so I'm glad you didn't have to take it there.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about coming up in Connecticut, the Great
Well,
North.
it was definitely interesting. I grew up more on the 203 side of it, and I went to 11 schools, so I definitely had a variety.
11 schools.
Yes,
Is that between elementary and high school?
yes.
So 11 total. Okay.
hmm That
I'm
is.
not quite there, but I'm probably close. I probably went to about 6 elementary schools alone. Things
hmm
kind of settled down when I got to junior high and high school, but I definitely feel that.
Absolutely, absolutely. But things in life happens. They was like, "Are you like an army brat or something? Why you move so much?" I'm like, "No." Like I said, things in life happen.
Right.
From just having a fire, losing your home, or when my brother passed away, so we moved. We really want to be right there because we was right across the street from the beach that he drowned in. So there's always a reason why we moved.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But just growing up, either being in an urban area to switch into an all white neighborhood and then going back to urban was definitely a transition because no matter what, I felt like I didn't belong. As a nerd, I didn't belong, or as a black girl, I didn't belong. I just always wondering why people just didn't rock with me. But when you're different, it's always a good thing. But as I grew older, I realized my uniqueness is what people love about me even more today. You know,
As a black girl, you felt out of place. Was it like a little racial tension?
it wasn't racist, but when you're quiet, it's hard for people to want to approach you. And you definitely not going to approach people. But I was in my mind, if people just give me a chance, as long as they came to me, I would show them the amazing person that I am.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So I just went to the pen and pad. That was my friend. That was my savior. That was my happiness.
So that's where you started kind of like writing and expressing yourself. That was your way of kind of.
hmm I always knew since I was a child that I was going to be an entertainer, and that dream has never changed.
Wow.
Mhm.
So at what point did you make the move from Connecticut to wherever you went to next? Because I don't know if Indiana was your next stop, but when did you decide to go ahead and make that move out of Connecticut?
Well, I moved out of Connecticut about 2 years ago, and I actually went to South Carolina for a year. But the interesting thing, I was actually supposed to be in Florida, but that situation didn't work out, and I already had everything packed. So I was like, okay, I gotta go somewhere. You should push it back. Push it back. Thank you. So I ended up in South Carolina, and I was there for like a year or so, and I'm like, it's cool because my family's from the Carolinas, but I'm like, I'm not happy. This is not where I need to be any longer. And then end up coming out here to the Midwest for just peace and serenity. I just wanted to regroup, rebrand, renew, restore, just have a fresh start in life, because I've done it a few times music wise, because the business is something vicious. But I'm like, I need to go somewhere new and fresh. And I'm out here. It's been here a year, even though it doesn't feel like it because COVID isolated me more than I wanted to be, but I think I made the right decision and I'm happy, and that's the most important.
But I mean, I guess COVID ends up being, I won't say it's been a blessing, but it's allowed you to take all of the hats that you wear and now do everything from the comforts of home instead of having to be out and about as much. I think that's kind of like for me, I actually stopped doing my previous radio show just as the pandemic was starting.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing that for like personal reasons as well as me just feeling like God was telling me I needed to slow my butt down because I was out and about so much.
Mm-hmm.
So I made that decision, and then like my last show was March the 14th, and then like March the 18th of quote unquote pandemic hit and everything started shutting down and we started working from home. So for me, it was just a good opportunity to just like woosah. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when you wear as many hats as you do, the woosah can be a good thing or a bad thing because it might, you know what I mean?
No, I totally understand. It was like up and down because I wanted to take this year to find out where I belong. Yes, I grew up in Connecticut, but I knew that wasn't where I was going to retire or anything. And I'm like, where do I belong? And I wanted to take 2020 to figure that out. And some great opportunities came from with different tours and like movie projects and music projects and comedy projects. All these projects, like this is going to be the year. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to be traveling and I'm going to check out different cities and states. And in the midst of that, I'm going to find out where I belong so I can just settle and be stable and be like, this is home. But of course, that didn't happen with the pandemic. But I'm not going to let it stress me. So I just tell people you just got to adjust to your new norm. And I always wanted to have a business online where everything is just online. I'm doing things online. So no matter where I am, I can still handle my business as an entrepreneur.
So how did Indiana become the touchdown for Key Quest?
Say what now?
How did you end up there? Like, what made you decide that Indiana was the place that, at least for now? Because when I think of Indiana, or I came and had a chance to visit and enjoy it a little bit.
Yeah.
Like Larry Bird, the Indiana Pacers, the NFL franchise,
the Jacksons.
There you go. It wasn't nothing like that. It was more the fact that one of my good friends I grew up with, we've known just as children. She was out here already, and I'm like, I need to go somewhere where I don't know anybody. I just need to clear my head. She was like, come out here, and I was like, okay, because I don't have no dependents. I am not attached to anything, so I can literally up and go when I please or however I please. So I was like, well, I'm out. And got grounded with the pandemic, but it is okay.
So just those couple of days that I spent there, like that is definitely the perfect place to just like kick back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You don't feel the hustle and bustle and feeling like everything was moving in 10,000 miles an hour. It was just like it was almost like literally. Because I needed to get away so bad, it almost felt like I was at a resort for like 2 days, man. It was just like, damn, I can breathe. The air is fresh. It's not 50,000 cars driving on 695 at rush hour and all of that kind of stuff. It definitely, especially out in the area where you guys were.
Yeah,
like that was just like total. Like I could just move out there and just be like, ah.
Absolutely. And that's what it's about. People like, why are you out here? You're in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, why does being in the middle of nowhere a crime? Why is it a problem? Why would I want to be in traffic every day? Why would I hear people screaming and sirens? Who wants that all the time? Even when, because Atlanta is a place where a lot of music artists want to be and have a lot of opportunities out there. I'm just like, I get that. But even if I was to go out there, I would never want to live in the city. I want to live in the burbs and go into the city. Because when I go home, I want peace. This entertainment industry and entrepreneur is so stressful that when I lay my head in I want peace and serenity. Right. But that's just
that was actually a great segue because I do want to talk about the music part.
Okay.
Because like I didn't know you had bars and and could hold the tune and all of that kind of stuff. Is that like a bucket list thing that you always wanted to do and just one day said, I'm gonna do it?
Yeah, like I said, as a child, I always knew I was going to be an entertainer. Even though I was quiet when it came to singing on the gospel choir at church and stuff, I always wanted to solo. Even though I was quiet in school, I always entered every single talent show, rapping, singing, dancing. I knew that I was going to be on a stage. And that's what I've done and haven't stopped since. Right now, of course, my genre is hip hop, but I grew up on gospel and R&B. And now that I'm older, I just give people a little bit of all of it when I feel like it. That's the best thing about being independent. I have the choice to do what I want,
So would you ever have a desire to be signed to a major label?
I mean, they try to tell us that independent is the best route, but when you really think about it business wise, it's kind of a good thing to be a part of a label, depending on the contract. Like if you do like a single deal or distribution deal, as soon as your name is out there, you can go handle your business being independent after the fact. You get the check, you get your name out there, and then you start investing, multiplying, and handling the business. So I would definitely consider it for sure. Nothing long term though. Nothing long term. But I would definitely consider maybe a project deal, a single deal, or a distribution deal for sure.
So you're not going to be one of those tied down to a record label being a slave for 5 albums, and you only end up releasing 2 albums. So then you're stuck in like limbo, for the next 20 years because you haven't released the.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, I would not be shelved.
I agree with you that to a certain extent it's good to have a major behind you, just because of that push that they can give you. But do you feel like with everything that you can do on social media and streaming now, do you feel like the record label is kind of at the point where you don't need them anymore?
Technically, I don't need them only for the fact to get my name out there quicker than I can do on my own. That's why I mean a distribution deal and stuff like that is very smart because they can do the branding and the marketing. So long as people know who you are, it's all about you keeping their attention after the fact.
But I mean, okay, so I understand and I agree with that. But like even now, if you have a big enough, if you can get a big enough following as far as social media is concerned, like you can literally click a couple of buttons and have your music out to thousands, if not millions of people instantaneously. So like a lot of artists that I hear, like a lot of the mainstream artists now feel like the record label is just becoming more and more extinct. Like there's no more A&R, there's no more artist development and stuff like that. So at what point, like what's the role now that other than the promotional part and the push that they can give you, what other role is the record label serving at this point for you?
For me personally, I wouldn't really need anything else outside of that, because outside of pushing, I know how to rock a mic. I know how to rock a stage. I know how to conduct myself in interviews and doing all that promotional things because I've been in radio for almost a decade. So I know how to speak, I know how to do artist development. I know how to teach artist development. So the only thing me personally I would want help with would be branding and marketing to get my name out there more to the masses. So yeah.
Nina, you look like you got something on your brain that you want to.
Yes. Oh, party girl up there.
So you are a melodic hip hop artist. How much of your background is you, or are you in your background? As far as your singers, because it's like a song going on in some of your. Is that you singing as well as rapping?
Yep, that's me rapping and singing on my tracks. Absolutely.
So is it? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You said that you do like A&R for other people. You can teach A&R. Is it true that you can do more for other people than you can for yourself?
Yes.
Yes.
I've always been that type. I'll be so quick to pitch somebody before I push myself. It was like, you kind of like Diddy, you want to help, or not the way he did it, but to a certain extent of I'm always there to help people push themselves and their businesses to the next level for sure. If I took enough time within myself that I give other people, I would probably be in a better position when it comes to the industry for sure.
Exactly. So at what point did you start linking things together? You started as an MC, then you went this direction, then you like all of the things are similar, but how did you make the connection?
Okay. Well, like I said earlier, I always knew I wanted to be in the entertainment industry. And I knew I was going to be a rock star, rocking the stage. And then that segued into doing radio. I did an interview with a DJ. He was like, you have so much spunk, great energy. You ever consider about doing radio? And I said, actually, yes. Because growing up, being the type of person that didn't talk a lot, I was very quiet. I knew I had a lot to say. I just needed a place to be comfortable to speak. And with radio, I was like, it's just me and the microphone. And that actually gave me more confidence to speak to people. And it's been super awesome ever since. And even since then, doing voiceovers, they're like, you ever thought of doing voiceovers? Or you have so many different animated voices within you, because I'm like a comedian too. They was like, you ever thought about doing stuff like that? I'm like, yeah, what you need? Well, I need you to play a white girl, a black girl, and a Spanish girl on my mixtape. I was like, give me the script. So then
I was like, oh my God.
that, I started to do DJ drops and producing tags, and I used to actually invest thousands of dollars into studio sessions just doing free drops for everyone. Because I'm like, if I do this for the DJs, most likely they're gonna want to play my music. So it's like a, one hand wash the other. And after a while, after investing so much money and doing that for them for free, my voice started to circulate that new ones will hear me on their platforms while they're spinning, and they were getting my content and actually like, how much do you charge for this, that, and the third? So that came into a business for voiceovers. Then I started doing radio commercials, and now I'm in the process of doing some not comic books, but children books, as well as cartoon voices. And I just kept elevating. I always want to have a clothing line. In school, I used to draw sketches and stuff. I would have a clothing line. I always wanted to get into like beauty. So then I started a cosmetic line. I just wanted everything to be in the same field. So no matter what I'm doing, when they say your 7 streams of income, it's always going to be surrounded by things that I love, not just to have an additional income. Because at the end of the day, it's not really about the money. It's about my well-being and my happiness.
Dude, you have excellent answer. Excellent answer. Did you have something, Twan? I see you blinked your eyes twice.
But did you realize that the voice of Joe Storms dropped?
Yes, we have another name for her. So I'm glad to meet you.
Oh Lord.
But it's funny stories that go with that. So when people hear that drop, sometimes they think it's me, and they're like, "Is that you?" And I'm like, "No, that's that other B." So that's what we call you, because you do the sexy drops for Joe Storm. Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard her drop? So she okay, another show, another story. Hey babe, I love you either way. I'm glad we met now. Absolutely. But yeah, that used to be a little tricky.
I'm into the original party girl. I go into the original party girl and not be at the granted show.
No, this happens all the time. And
he's a Joe. Do Joe's. You know Joe's? Can you do his drop?
What was it?
That was it. That is it.
DJ Joe Storm.
Right. So I'm like, hold up, is that Joe? And he was like, she's one of my partners with my DJ Fleet guys. And I'm like, how long have you known her? Like, why is she talking like that? So I'm just so glad to know that that's really your job,
Absolutely.
So I feel a lot better. He's got in trouble when you start doing his drops.
When I started in Fleet about 3-4 years ago.
3 years ago. So that's 3 years of me listening to your voice on my man situation. But I respect you, sis. I respect you.
I appreciate it. It happens a lot with girlfriends, wives. They're like, who is that? And they're like, are you the voice? I'm like, yes, I am.
She's the voice. She's the voice. Right. So we're in the car and your voice comes on and I like crash the car over. I'm like, let us say it again, Joe. It's an ongoing joke type thing that we had. You're like, no, babe, we cool.
I love it. The same thing.
I didn't realize that you did drops beyond that, the total voiceover thing. Yeah. That's just a small piece of what you do.
Yeah, that's my main profession now. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is it. So out of all of your professions that you've had thus far, have you eliminated something because it just either took up too much time, wasn't worth the time versus the money? Have you figured out what you're most profitable off of versus what you need to lose?
Mm-hmm. Well, the one thing I cut off was a 9 to 5.
95?
9 to 5.
Oh, a 9 to 5. Yes. Congratulations.
Outside of that, well, technically the music would have been the most profitable because not just as an entertainer, but as a party host and stuff. So people used to book me for multiple different things. And the performance money was the most money coming in. You know what I'm saying? But since that stopped because of the pandemic,
Right.
I had to adjust to the new norm and go back and promoting the voiceover stuff. And right now, revamping the clothing line. And then, of course, doing radio and putting artist music in rotation as like a DJ and stuff. So, yeah.
All your
Right
digital side, all
now,
the you're not in the room stuff. Gotcha.
So I do want to talk to you a little bit about the DJing, but since you mentioned the clothing line, go ahead and talk about that a little bit as well.
okay, so no,
See?
The girl on us right there.
Right. She didn't.
oh my god, yeah, because I'm from the valley, like I'm seriously from the valley, but I have a clothing line called the GLM.
The Valley of Connecticut.
No, I really am.
Valley.
It literally says on the sign, the All American Valley.
There's a lot of mountains up there, so it has to be some valleys.
Absolutely. But yeah, I have a clothing line called the GLM collection. GLM standing for Gotta Love Me, which is my brand. And it's just cute, comfortable, casual clothes for men, women, children, babies, dogs. I try to do something for the whole entire family. And I just love the brand. I had a rare breed edition, a graffiti edition, a hot mess edition, just little things, just part of my personality. So they can actually find that on my website, gottalovemeworld.com. We got some new colors out, and rock out
Your
with
curvy girl items.
I got something for everybody, boo boo. But
Right.
right now it's more casual things, but I want to
You can
expand
just
it.
take a shirt and cut it in half, and that'll be OPG. That's all she needs.
I do not show my navel to other people.
She'll wear that.
They cut it in half.
She'll wear that
That's not the view I want.
But I do want to expand it and have more like designers on my team, because right now it's more like promotional things, like with some shirts, hats, hoodies, crop tops and stuff. But a lot of people, like when I won my awards for best clothing line of the year, a lot of women were coming to me like, do you do dresses, do you do skirts, do you do this, that, and the third, because they're looking for things that they're comfortable in. And I'm like, you know what, right now what you're looking for I don't have, but eventually I'm going to grow there. I'm blessed and honored that God has blessed me with many gifts, but people got to remember that I'm only one person. So I have to expand to that. But yeah, it was like an honor winning not just best female rapper, but best clothing line. And with that situation, I was actually supposed to be back in Connecticut this year for another award show they was honoring me at, but I wasn't able to make it because of the pandemic. And in a way, it wasn't meant for me to be there because the lady in charge, which I've been a part of her network for multiple years, are her charity events, women empowerment events. She actually passed away the day of the award show a couple of weeks ago due to COVID.
Wow.
And I'm just like, imagine if I would have went home to my family, got all ready for an award show that I would have never made it to. That would have been very awful. Mm-hmm.
So can I go to a piece of your radio piece? You said
Go
you
ahead.
currently you are on how many shows? Radio shows?
I have about 10 plus radio stations that I'm a part of. And exclusive, I'm actually building my own radio station that will be dropping next month. I'm super excited about that. It's been long overdue. Like I said, I've only been radio in 10 years, and I love being a part of other people's stations, but kind of like 9 to 5. I'm glad here to have a check, but this is not what I want to do. Like, I'm a boss. And like, I'm glad to have my radio shows on your platforms, but this is not the way I would run it. I would do things a little differently. So instead of complaining about where I'm at,
So familiar.
what you say?
I said that sounds so familiar.
Is that right, Mr. Antwon? Tell me about
I told you, me and my partners, we opened up 2 stations over the past 2 years, literally. And the reason that we decided to do that was because we were at, I gotta think, 3 radio stations prior.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just like, bro, something has to change. Like, we were able to take a little piece from every station that worked
Mm-hmm.
We were able to take a lot of pieces from those stations that didn't work or stuff that we just felt like wasn't on the professional level that we wanted.
Mm,
And we just came together and, decided that it was time, if, why not do it your way? If you want
absolutely.
to, because like that's your show,
Mm-hmm.
but that radio station, that's your platform, is like what everybody sees. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what, like, that banner that's behind you, that's what, represents everything. And we were just like, bro, we can't do this. And so we started the original station a couple of years ago, and then we had a little falling out with one of the partners that we had. And Jay and I, my partner Jay McGraw, we decided to start Power 4.4 last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great. And I felt very comfortable in March when I decided to step down, leaving
Mm-hmm.
that to him. And now it's funny because the radio station is literally like 3 minutes from me, and I drive past, and he has a truck out there that has the Power 4.4 logo and everything on there. So he's doing great with it. But I definitely understand what you're saying when you've been through so many other situations, and you just say at some point you got to do it the way that you want it done because you can
Right.
see the rights and wrongs with everybody else.
On the
Absolutely.
next step up.
Absolutely. And I love the platforms that I'm on, but life is all about elevating and increasing. And I know at the end of the day, I always wanted to be a trillion dollar boss, running my own stuff, having my own shopping plazas and everything, just like being a journalist. I love writing, I love blogging. But sometimes when I look at the magazines that I write for, whether it's just a blog or being a senior editor, I'm like, you know what? I pretty much wrote every story in here, but I'm not going to get a credit for everything. The owners,
Right.
their name is on the magazine, but everything
So
written here is on me.
on your show,
Yeah,
because you have so many different voices,
yo,
you can have a whole bunch of people that people hear, but it's all you.
back to mundo. I really
Right,
can, and
right.
I
So
was.
who are the most memorable experience on your radio? Like who's a guest that you've interviewed that was like really memorable to you, or the best interview ever?
Best interview. Wow.
I'm jealous because
Besides yourself, of course.
It's funny you say that because one of my favorite episodes is when we did a fan reverse and they actually interviewed me, and that was actually my favorite interview because they opened up
Okay.
wounds and it made me emotional when I was done too. But some of my best ones, I did an all female panel, empowerment panel. And I hand selected these women, and it ended up turning into a T-Quest intervention. But I just knew everyone's story, their backgrounds, and I knew that once I get them all on the platform, that it was just going to be phenomenal. It actually ended up being like 3 hours long, and I was like, I gotta stop this. I gotta stop it. It's going too long, and it was just so beautiful because I like to break that stereotype of women not getting along, Black women not getting along, looking at each other as competition. I'm like, no, that's a stereotype. Stereotype they try to put on us before, but it's not like that now. And we have to show you guys that we can come together, we can love one another, we can support one another. So that was a great show. I definitely loved Antwon's favorite group, Interviewing the Whispers. That was, look at his face. That was phenomenal.
jealous.
you know, um,
I was like 8 years old. My mom used to play the heck out of them, and yeah, when I saw that, I was like, I want to be like you when I grow up. That was real dope, and it was yeah,
yeah, they were beautiful. And one thing I did take from that is even when it came to like Tracy Lee, it's not about your age when it comes to your talent. Either you hot or you not. Either you still got it or you don't. Either you still there training your vocals or you just gonna let it go. Because even in new song, How Long, I'm gonna plug that in there. That song is dope. Just like the other songs in their catalog. I enjoyed interviewing Professor Daddio, and he's super awesome. And I was telling him, for someone like you to be a hip hop legend, you are just so humble, and he just
Mr. Sonic video.
does. Like, look at me, Antoine, look at me. Me and Daddy-O now is like this, okay? Like, that's my boy now. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I want him on a T-Quest show tomorrow, he will be on the show tomorrow. That's how cool he is, you know?
I mean, since we're traveling tomorrow, if you want to fly them over to Access Granite, I mean, I ain't too proud to beg, so
No, but I've definitely
that's
introduced
cool.
some cool people, and I just like hearing their stories. You know, when you normally when you do a radio show, especially syndicated, they only give you about 10 to 15 minutes to speak.
Right,
I'm like,
exactly.
how can someone really tell a story in 10 to 15 minutes? Like, I have different layers. Like, I can really touch them with my story. So that's why I customize my platform where I'm going to give you more than 10 to 15 minutes. I want to know your backstory. I want to know the silent cry behind your grind. Because if I got a story, I know for a fact you have one too. Period.
So if you could choose, you had to choose. It didn't matter how much money you made doing it, or which one would you choose out of all of your talents? Which one would it be?
A music artist performing.
Okay, cool, cool,
Mhm.
cool.
Be on the stage.
That will always be number one, no matter what. You know, it definitely be number one. And right now, during this whole situation with COVID and stuff, I'm like, I got a little too comfortable in the house, and I want to go back to being that ultimate entertainer I was. I used to be known as someone who used to rap, sing, and dance in the club for hours, never getting tired, like just keep going. I used to do 3 to 4 shows in a day, 7 to 10 shows in a week. You know, I remember I used to, for my birthday, I think it was my 29th birthday, I went to work for like 10 hours. Then I went to do a TV show that was an hour away. Then I had to do a show, and then I went to the club. Then I went to the after party, went back to work like nothing ever happened. Like just being on a stage and performing for people is what genuinely used to always make me happy because in that moment, I was just me.
So in this new world, the new,
Yeah.
did you hit a part of depression or confusion? Like the world directly impacted at least five of the things you do.
Hmm.
Did you get stuck? Like what was your period in between you figuring out what you were going to do?
Actually, my period of depression and everything came before the pandemic. It happened as soon as I left Connecticut, you know, because technically I was supposed to go to Florida and this whole thing was like planned out, planned everything, right? And then things changed. My bad. Sorry, it's not happening. I'm like, yo, I felt like I was just left on a curve with my suitcases. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, my whole world was just stable, job, office job, vehicle, home, like all this stuff. And in 2.2 seconds, I felt like it was all just taken away from me. What am I supposed to do now? Like I'm too stressed.
Right.
It's not happening. And I started feeling different. And I started Googling it. I'm like, is what they call depression? I've always heard about it. I'm like, how do you know you're depressed? And I experienced that last year, and it was an interesting journey that I had to deal with on my own because when I got on social media and when I did my radio shows and everything, I still gave them T-Quest, even though Tara was slowly suffering and dying behind the scenes. You know, like even if I can be in my room crying, in pain, stressed, if somebody called me they was going through something, I would just stop and be like, what's wrong with you? What's happening? You know, I could be in the hospital, half a leg there, half dying, and somebody called me, I'm like, what's wrong with you? And by the time they ask you what's wrong with you, I'm like, I'm good. Right now, it's not about me, it's about you. You know?
Right.
That's one of the hardest things that you have to do in this field because for you it's even closer to 24/7 than it was for me. But I know during the 6 years that I was really heavy into doing radio, I was going through a lot, and especially those last couple of years was I was where I was actually the owner of a radio station. You're going through, times where you work 10 or 12 hour days, and you have to leave your 9 to 5 and go to the radio station for like another 5 or 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of times when you just have to be able to click that switch and turn on T-Quest, turn on Mr. Antwon, turn on Original Party Girl, or whatever, whatever the case may be, because you have to always be to the public
On.
eye, to the public eye. You always have to be that person. And I think a lot of time, and I know I've heard celebrities and like athletes talk about this a lot, like they don't realize that sometimes when those lights go off, and the game is over and you leave that arena or you leave that radio station or whatever the case may be, you go home and you're whatever your government name is, you're no longer Diddy or Jay-Z, you're Sean Carter, you're Sean Combs, or whatever the case may be. And sometimes people don't realize, man, how hard that is. Like you go through
every day, every day.
I was literally in the hospital at the time or right around the time both of my radio stations opened. And if I wouldn't have told anybody that, they wouldn't have known it. Like I remember when we opened Power 4.4 Radio, like I struggled. We had a happy hour that we did to celebrate the launch of the station. I was at that happy hour struggling because I had just gotten out the hospital like less than 48 hours before.
Absolutely.
When you get there, you have to turn on that persona, so to speak, because you can't, to their eyes, everything is always peaches and cream in your world. And that's a real hard balance, that you have to do sometimes, especially when you wear as many hats as you do.
Absolutely. But in my situation, I never get a chance to turn it off.
Right.
Because even as an entertainer, and my family sees me as an entertainer, I still can't turn it off. I can't tell them about how many meetings I've been through and things is crazy. I can't tell them how. Because when I first came into the industry, I had the drive, the passion, the talent, and the capital to fund my career. But the thing is, I didn't know anybody in the entertainment industry. Nobody in my family does music. I had no guidance. I had nobody directing me. So I literally had to throw myself to the wolves. And I got bit, stumped on, scratched, and everything to the point they just took everything from me. So when I get back home, I don't turn up into Kara. I'm feeling too comfortable because I can't tell them how much I failed. How I'm going to these shows and you're like, well, it's going to cost you a couple of hundred, a couple of thousand. A&R is going to be in the building. I don't know if it's true or not. So I'm like, okay, here you go. Okay, here you go. I can help you with this. It's going to cost this amount. Okay, here you go. Because why would someone be so mean to such a nice person? It's to the point they don't stole my whole bag and then some. And when I go home, they're like, how was your day? Oh, it was fine. Was it really? No. How was your trip? Oh, it was great. Was it really? No. Situation with producers, A&Rs, DJs, fighting men off me, attacking me, trying to get the cookie. Like it was hard. It was a lot of traumatic experiences that I could never turn it off. I couldn't be sad about it. I couldn't cry about it to nobody. I couldn't even stomach saying the words of things I've actually experienced. My thing was, it was cool. My day was all right. But in reality, I'm like, I survived it. So on to the next adventure.
Another day. So I'm here for you in the event that you ever get close to where you were. Sometimes it's good to be around people that are like you, that understand the many facets, the all the responsibilities that you have to keep other people happy. So if I'm charged up, I definitely can lend you some energy, sis, and vice versa. Because there's times when I need the same thing. I understand about it never turning off. You are always under the lights. I have one more question, if that's okay, Mr. Antwon.
Please.
Okay. You are a female artist, female this, female that. In this industry, do you still find it, in today's era, do you still find it tricky to navigate through this industry being a female?
Nope.
No,
it's not at all. Like I understand to a certain degree, but my thing is, it's all about how you maneuver. You know what I'm saying? If you know how to support and love fellow queens, they will support you. If you got music that can be their anthem, they're going to support you. If you got clothing or if you're on radio topics that they're intrigued with, they're going to support you. Now it's time for you to flip it and be in the game. These dudes, if you got what they want, they will support you. If you're nice to them, they will support you. It's all about how you maneuver in the game and how you play the game of chess in order for yourself to win.
So have you ever seen anything on your journey in this industry and you knew you didn't want to go in that direction? Or something scary?
I think the scary thing was when I used to try to meet up with different men about songs or events and some industry cats and some of the situations that has happened and occurred for sure. You know, I shouldn't have to fight a man off of me. I shouldn't have to. You know what I mean? Like, why are you
I'm
attacking?
like, in this day and age, there's still an invisible couch, or there's still a work for trade favor type thing. I didn't know if you saw that, Prudy.
No, I've never went through that. It's more the fact that I could be at a meeting and they could start to like me and then they try to see what's up and I'm like, no. And some guys won't take no for an answer, you know. But that was back then in my 20s. Nowadays they be too scared to really do a lot of that stuff. And I'm older now, so I'm no longer quiet. But in that situation, I always felt in my mind that if you fight back, you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know if they're gonna take your life. So sometimes you just gotta get the nightmare over with and keep it moving. And I know that's a bad mentality, but I've always been that way. And recently I figured out why I was always that way because when I was younger, I remember I got jumped for having an opinion. Someone asked me one question and I told them, and they was like, "What? What you say? You don't like this?" Next thing you know, they're jumping me. And then in my mind, I'm like, "Oh, so I get hurt for speaking my mind. I'm hurt for having an opinion." And ever since then, I always walked on eggshells around anybody because I don't know how someone's going to respond if I really give me like the honest truth or express how I feel. And I've been uncomfortable my whole entire life to this very day, ever since that day.
And you grew up to do radio, so now that's all you do is talk and express your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Correct.
Way to get them back, sis. Way to get them back.
Sad that in 2020, women still have to go through that kind of stuff. But then I think about some of the stuff that I hear, and it's sad that in 2020 there are women that will still allow themselves to be taken advantage of because they feel like they have to do certain things in order to get
To the next level, to get to what it is they're trying to achieve.
it's
Right.
it's like I don't know. I'm gonna get off of that because that's a story that could start another. That's
Yeah.
a story that could start
Look,
another.
I've never slept my way to the top, nothing like that. But they definitely vision. They were like, yo, come on me around the corner real quick. Don't you know I can change your career? Come holler at me. No.
No
You know what?
means no.
If you have to go through that to change your career, then it's not a career worth having to a certain degree.
Absolutely.
Jaguar Wright is out there telling everything. Like, sorry.
We're gonna talk about Jaguar on one of these shows. We're gonna talk about Jaguar. We might have to do just a me and you show, Nina, to talk about Jaguar. And if T Class wants to come on and give her thoughts and opinions about Jaguar. But I want to first of all shout out to everybody that's checking in with us on Facebook Live. I got another computer over here to my side, and Facebook is really showing a lot of love right now. And I also want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Tipsy Fiend. Her information is scrolling at the bottom right now, and I got like her glass right here, the whole Tipsy Fiend thing going on. She's a mixologist. She almost cussed me out when I called her a bartender one day. She's a
Oh, you can do that.
certified mixologist, and man, so especially with the holidays coming up, if you want to get right, go ahead and people at the website below. But I want to talk about this DJing stuff because I think out of all of the stuff that you do, I don't know why that seems like that's the most surprising to me. When I saw some pictures of you at the DJ and you got I'm like, hold up, so she scratches and cuts and all that stuff too?
It goes with what she does. With the other thing.
You find out you DJing and rapping your own shows, like you just.
You know what? That can actually happen. You never know. I've done that before at a fashion show where they're modeling my clothes while I'm performing at the same time. You know what I mean? So it does happen a lot. But when it comes to DJing, I should definitely be farther when it comes to that. But you know, I just would have so much going on. But I don't really tell people I'm a DJ. You know, I just do my little clips here and there because that's something I want to keep to myself for a while. Why? Because once you put something out there, they be like, "Oh, you DJ? what you use, what kind of equipment you have, how long you been doing. Let me see.
Can
I'm like,
you use turntables?
exactly, or a
Right.
controller, or a CD.
Right.
And
Right.
they be like, well, let me see you. I'm like, do you want to see me spin because you just want to see me rock out, or you want to see me spin so you can judge me or critique me, and then try to turn me into a student with something I didn't ask you for. You know, people suck the life out of anything fun, and that's why I don't really put it out there like that. You know, and I feel like when it comes to any title, you have to earn titles. I don't think I've earned the title as a DJ, but if they ask me, do I know how to and have I? I'm like, yes. Just like with, I used to do a couple of modeling things and pictures and all that stuff. They're like, are you a model? I was like, nope. But then she was like, I used to do print ads and stuff, but I don't consider myself a model. They was like, you're really fun. Are you a comedian? I'm like, no. I just happen to be an entertainer that's funny. I don't want the titles because once you have the title, it's these expectations and you're taking the fun out of some of my gifts. And I don't like that stuff.
Right.
It's another gotta. You gotta do it. Once you let them know, now you gotta do it.
Yeah.
You just want to do those things to kind of be an outlet from all of the other stuff that you do. So
yeah. And then they
Do you have a hobby?
me, but
I said, do you have a hobby? That you DJ.
No. Like it's just I just don't publicize it because I don't want them to take fun of it while I'm still learning.
Right.
You know, but if you see me at a you DJing, yeah. Because I'm just like a chill person. I'm a humble person. Like you notice when you came out here, I didn't get on mic like, yo, it's your girl T Quest. Shout out to Fleet DJs. I'm a personality. I'm a journalist. I'm here to get it popping. I can change your life. I'm a plus, son. Like I didn't do anything like that. Why? Because I don't have to. I'm not here to showboy. I'm a very humble, cool person. Now we happen to have a conversation because you organically catch my vibe and you happen to ask me a question, and I'll say it, but I will never just put it out there. Like a lot of my things nowadays, they don't even know I'm a music artist until they have to drop something. They're like, wait, you're an artist? I'm like, mm-hmm. Or they see they're like, you do? I'm like, mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't even know. I'm like,
That was me. That was me. That was me personally. I was like, oh, okay. So she's really out here, like I said, a Jackie of all trades. I didn't realize because, like, for me, I was in a working capacity when we met, and it wasn't until after the fact when we connected because I told you I needed to pick your brain on some stuff and started going through your website and stuff. And I'm like, hold up, and then you have this one flyer where you list everything that you do, and the flyer is like your phone. So, yeah, but it's both. So, how did the connection to the Fleet family come about?
Oh, I started seeing DJs and they had like the logos behind them. I'm like, what is that? So I asked one of my Connecticut, what is that? I'm a part of this thing called Fleet DJ. I was like, oh, okay. Then I saw a flyer that said Fleet Artist. I said, hold up, what is that? You got artists on it? They were like, no, certain states have artists. I'm like, well, if the Connecticut states start having artists, you should definitely consider me. They was like, well, in all due respect, if the Connecticut state do have artists, you're the only person I was going to think of anyway. I said, you're a smart man. So then I just started going to their events and stuff, and I met the president. They saw her, you're going to be a part of Fleet. I said, I am. You're very confident. I said, I am. I said, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to be a part of y'all team. Next to know, they was like, it's time, Quest. It's time for the interview. I'm like, call me up. What's up? And I came in as a Fleet artist. And it was only a selected few that was chosen out of the whole. So we're all over the world. We're a whole conglomerate all over the world. And only selected few artists were chosen. Then they killed the artist division. And there's only 2 of us left. But I'm in now as a Fleet artist, a Fleet host, and a Fleet journalist. And then now I'm the manager of the Army division and then director of artist development in the teens Fleet division. And then the commissioner of the 2 Fly division, which is the all female division. So
what is left?
Nothing.
Kick the bucket. Yeah.
Tiny. But there's some other things I'm working on. That's kind of a surprise. My new thing is I don't want to talk about anything. I don't want to do no 6-week promo. I'm just going to drop when I drop, and you'll see it when you see it.
What I tell you, Dina? What I tell you, I just decided when did I book this interview with you? Like 4 or 5 days ago. I just said
Yep.
I'm gonna get you before you get out of town, and we just going. That's the way you gotta be sometimes because when you start putting stuff out there and you start letting people know like you're always being watched.
And they're always going to question if it doesn't happen.
Exactly.
And so many people have done me wrong over the years that I don't want to hear the aftermath. What happened to this? And what happened to this? And how come this? And how come that? I'm tired of hearing that. So my new thing is, what you doing? Chilling. Next thing you know, tomorrow, a whole project drop. Where did that come from? I don't know. My email. Like, and you
Pawns like that.
Mhm.
What you doing? We're going live in 5 minutes. Okay.
Exactly.
It's
You know,
funny because anyway, yesterday it was like, oh, I thought Wednesday was gonna be the practice run. No, we're not doing no practice run. We going.
You
let
get
it
6 minutes of practice, and now we're live. Go.
go.
Starting at 7:30, hit me up at 7:15 to make sure your microphone and your camera is working. And
But that doesn't always work for everyone. That's why I always put out there. Everyone's individual. Every situation is different. Even with these platforms like this, it's very easy to get on your laptops. It's very easy to get on your phone. But when me and one of my co-hosts did a show 2 weeks ago, bringing on our exes, all this hot mess had to do was click on it, but his camera wasn't working. So you never know when it's gonna be a situation. I'm like, first of all, fool, you supposed to be on the show as my ex, and then you ain't even gonna jump on. You just harass me for a whole day. Like, it is what it is. So it's
I'm in a situation right now. DJ Joe Storm has taken the heater out of this room,
what?
and I am freezing, but I look like I'm not. Right? Did you see me put my coat
I
on?
saw
Really quick?
that. I didn't know why.
Oh my
I was
God.
like, I'm gonna go outside and take a break really quick. What's happening?
What's the weather where you are?
It's cold. It's like in the 30s. I'm nervous because I'm actually flying out to Colorado in the morning.
see, man, I didn't know if you wanted to put that out there, but since you did, talk a little bit about what's going on in Colorado.
Well, the funny thing is, Colorado is really just one of our DJs. It's his birthday, and we were flying out to visit the other DJ. He's always open his home to anybody in Fleet, right? So even though it's his birthday vacation and that's where he lives, me personally, like I'm there to celebrate you. I'm there to connect with you. But because of the person I am, I'm actually there to work, because the one we're going to meet, he's like an IT guru. He has all the DJ equipment, all the producing equipment, photography equipment, like everything. So I'm not gonna just sit there chilling, sipping on cocoa with you guys for a week. I'm there gonna be with my pen and pad. I'm like, so how do you do this when it comes to DJing? What program do you use for producing? Because I want to get into that. What do you do when it comes to flyers and templates for Photoshop? When it comes to this and that, I'm gonna be there ready to work, getting notes, seeing everything hand in hand. So when I come back, I can execute a lot of things I'm doing even better because if I'm out here by myself, I like having hands-on help instead of just going through Zoom. So it's going to be a chill event, but trust me, I'm ready to work. I'm ready.
Coming out with something.
I'm gonna take advantage of it.
You have
That's
to.
my mentality. I've given my all. I've sacrificed memories with my family for this entertainment industry. I'm all in, and ain't no turning back.
Right. Get it.
And when you're around that much talent and that much power, like it's okay to have fun, but why not pick the brains of the people that are in the space where you want to be, and try to get whatever you can out of that weekend, and I feel that.
So how supportive are you when someone else wants to pick your brain? Do you share?
Absolutely. I built my whole brand around that because I always want to make sure people, if I can prevent certain people from going through what I had to experience in the industry, that's what I'm going to do. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell people the whole music 101, but if they have asked questions and if I can answer in a certain amount of time, then I'm here for it. Or I'm like, well, that's going to take a while. Let's do a conference call at this time, and I'll give you a whole hour to pick my brain, whatever you need, because I know how it was when I didn't have nobody that I can talk to, when I didn't have nobody to go to. Even when it comes to music and sending it properly, I realized that some people let me get away because I was too pressed. I'm like, but you doing that didn't help me. It hindered me because I entered so many different contests and stuff. And the reason why I didn't get contact back because my stuff wasn't done properly. Why didn't you tell me it was wrong so I could fix it? Why didn't you teach me? You know, I need you to coddle me. I need you to help me. And I learned that years later. I'm like, I can only imagine where I would have been right now if we actually had more teachers. You know, so I'm always here to help out. Antwon, he asked me a question. Here you go.
Say that again.
Like when you ask me questions, like when you're someone like StreamYard or radio, I said it. Like,
yeah, he said to me as well.
mm-hmm.
He answers my questions.
Absolutely.
You're my feed.
We gotta be here for one another. But it be some people that really be milking. I'm like, look, you try to do it one more time. If you see that cash app request, you better accept it and pay it.
Right. They don't understand how much it is. They don't get the investment.
They was try. Mm-hmm.
I'm still, whatever I cash app you, is still 50 times less than what I had to pay somebody if I had to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I get it.
It's actually funny that you said that, Quest, because I was talking to King Ray yesterday. Shout out to DJ King Ray.
Yeah.
And I actually had this conversation with him. I was like, she has so much knowledge that I could use, but I don't want to feel like that the only reason that I'm connecting with her is because I want to pick her brain for everything. And he was one of those, he said, like, yo, like, she will help you as much as she can. Just don't make it seem like you're pimping the hell out of her. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's exactly why I laughed when he said that. I'm like, no, I'm not here to pimp, but I haven't come across anybody, because I told you I've actually a couple of years ago was a part of the DMV Fleet DJs, and I didn't feel like I was connecting with anyone, even though we had a great
that were like you, right?
We had a great opportunity to do the meet and greet with High Five and everything like that, but I didn't really feel like, outside of Joe, because Joe did help me with some stuff and he put that together, but I didn't feel like as a whole I had anybody that I could really connect to and be like, yo, this is what I need to do. And I'm not the type of person that will take a title just to have a title. So if you want me to be in your media part of the DMV Fleet DJs, then give me some media stuff to do, because I'm available.
Absolutely.
Right.
You know? Right. And I was able to attend a couple of the events that they did, but as a whole, I didn't feel like I was connecting with them the way that I wanted to. So when I came across you and I found out that you were a part of Fleet, I was like, damn, this is like, for all of the stuff that we had to go through to finally get to Indiana, I felt like it was meant to be. Because of just this opportunity to connect with you. So I appreciate the little stuff, the little nuggets that you've given me thus far. And yeah,
I did not give you nuggets. I done gave you whole chickens. Let's be clear. No, I'm
gonna be kicking your brain for some whole chickens though, for real.
But that's what it's all about. There shouldn't have to be a dollar sign on everything. Because there was a time when you didn't know something. And even if you paid for it, I mean, you have to charge the next one. That's the same thing with a lot of things that happen in our culture. We have to break these generational curses. Well, I was abused, so I'm going to abuse you. I was hurt, so I'm going to hurt you. I was taught with tough love, so I'm going to teach you tough love. Or you could just show me love.
You could just show love, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. I can promote your stuff because you've helped me. I can pay you back in another way as well. I can sell your services to somebody else. I'm not going to approach them the same way I approached you. Like, you need to talk to the sister, find out what her pricing is, but it's worth it, you know?
Absolutely. It's all about that, because you just never know who you might bless and how it comes on. Like, just the other day, this DJ hit me up, and, we conversed before, and he was talking about, he's like, I'm going to ask you a question. And it was about how to maneuver with these other DJs that's just really been really mean. And I pretty much tell them, if it's not going to affect you in 5 years, don't give them more than 5 minutes. If you're really out here trying to help people and they hating on you, then that's how the people you need to be around. Next thing you know, I'm talking to his wife. It's her birthday. I'm saying happy birthday. Like, all this stuff. Like, I'm like, okay. And then he hit me up, told me he needed some drops. He asked me my prices, and I told him my prices. And he was like, look, I understand your prices, but this is all I have. What can I get for this amount? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it if you want it. And even though you don't have all the money for it, I'm still going to do it in general. He was like, really? Yeah, don't even worry about it. So I did all the work for him, edits, effects, the whole nine, for everything he wanted. right? Next thing I know, he tagged me in a few posts. Yo, just got these incredible jobs from Quest. Make sure you hit her up. Within a day, I made back probably 800% of,
Call?
huh?
Was that the guy that shouted you out from the car?
No, that was the magazine. That was a different thing. But it was something else. I said, look at that. Me just being a blessing to him because I understand, like, it's okay. If you ain't got it, it's cool. I got you. And the next thing you know, he got me from that one post, and I ended up making the money and then some.
And then, so speaking of services, when you decide that you meet Mr. Right and you want to walk down that aisle, you go ahead and hit Nina up because she can marry you and do your reception all at the same time.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay. I'm
yeah.
sure my family will love that because my daddy keeps saying, you know, I'm gonna walk
Wait
on
a
that
minute, where's she
wall
at?
one more
Where you
time.
live at again?
I'm in Indiana.
We'll have to do your ceremony via Zoom. I can make it creative though.
But
Oh, oh.
wait, we got.
Oh, fly
It's
me
gonna be a
out.
minute. It's
Sorry.
gonna be a minute though, because first of all, I gotta find. Well, I don't have to find him. We have to meet, and then I have to actually like him, right? And then we gonna have to court. Then we have to date. And then we have to fall in love. We gotta make sure he's the right
So she
name.
hit you up. She hit you up around 2025 for that, Nina.
Yo,
That doesn't take that long once you set your intention. She knows what
you
she
right.
wants. She just
You
gotta
right.
meet him. He's already out there.
Exactly.
You get a bunch of tests before the real one gets in your face. But
That's
that's the
another
whole
time.
thing. Right.
The books are coming out 2021. People been waiting on my situationship book and my dates from hell book, and they will be out 2021 because I tell people my whole entire life on my platforms except for my personal life when it comes to relationships, and
So
they know, huh?
you have that list that's that long, but do you have one place where all of that is, or you market them separately?
They're all on my website and my app.
I
Gotcha.
like the way you did that, Nina. That was slick. That was slick, Nina. I like that.
What,
You
be
learn.
me?
You learn from the best, Nina. You learn from the
Oh
best.
yeah, and
You
it's
just wait,
easier. Yeah,
wait,
and I really connect with what like with magical females. Like that's my thing. Is it's harder for us. So when you have mastered your lane and determine what your next destination is, I hope that we have those type of support systems that can get us there. Because I'm proud of you, sis. I am really proud of you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I make it look so easy
Right.
because I train myself how to be in the public eye, how to speak to people. But I'm like, if you ask the right questions, I'll give you the right answers. It's not easy. It's extremely hard. Being an entrepreneur is not always what it cracks out to be. One day you're like, am I going to use this money to invest in my brand? Am I going to use this money to get myself something to eat or put gas in my car? You know what I'm saying? Am I going to go for this event? Hopefully, it's going to come out. Am I going to miss a milestone in my family, or it's going to be someone's wedding or a death? Like, it's just so uncomfortable every day, even though we make it look like it's so easy. I literally bought a teddy bear just to cry in it at nighttime because that's how real it gets. You know what I'm saying? Like,
What is his name?
oh, Huggy Bear. You see him? No, you can't see him.
Cry baby bear.
No, for real, because when I came out here to the Midwest, like my family's not out here, and it was during the middle of the pandemic. Things is happening.
Hold up, real quick. Go get the bear. I want to see the bear.
You really want to see the bear?
I want to see the bear.
Okay, hold on.
Should I go get the heater? Jerry South.
Let me get my baby. So, yeah, I actually got multiple bears. I got multiple
a red bow tie.
Yeah. So I was like, this is different. It's a lot going on. What's going to make me happy? And I had to think back. What used to make me happy? And I remember it was teddy bears. So now I got multiple teddy bears. I got Butterscotch, Baby Girl, Questina, Sleeping Cutie, Fifi, Fido, and Huggy Bear. And he came at the right time because, the pandemic hit. A lot was going on. I was hearing about deaths literally every single day, especially as a go-to and a therapist. But at the same time, not being around my family, still trying to figure out life. And then it was so bad that even people in my family was passing away, and I have yet to take a moment to grieve them. You know, like my grandmother, I was her heart. Even though it was a lot of us, I was her favorite. We was the closest. And she passed away. They're like, I'm like, I can't get back to Connecticut. My other person, Uncle passed away. I can't get to North Carolina. You know, and people are contacting me. Are you okay? Because I know you guys are close. I'm like, don't contact me. I don't want to think about it because it's just going to make everything worse. You know, and to this day, because there's so much going on this year, I still have yet to grieve. But you know, he definitely got some tears in his skin in life in general. Like I tell people, like I cry myself to sleep a lot. It's a lot to handle, you know. But that's just life. Nobody's perfect. I'm everybody hug you. Nobody's
Hi.
perfect. It's like,
Hi,
oh,
Bear. If he say hi back, I'm up. All right. Just let me know.
Sure. So you kind of jumped the gun a little bit. I did want to ask you, what's kind of next for T-Quest as far as like the end of this year and any endeavors that you may have on the horizon, or we are ending this year. I can't believe it's November, December already.
that's fine. 2020 to kick rocks. But go ahead.
Yeah, pretty much. And just tell us a little bit about what you may have going on for next year or in the immediate future other than, Colorado.
Okay. So yes, more music is finally coming out. Um, I have some ideas, is different things I'm tapping into musically. So that will be out in 2021. And then, of course, more vocal work. And like I said, I'm going to start doing some audio for a couple of books. So that's going to be super awesome and some cartoons. And maybe if the pandemic will hurry up and go away, I can start being a part of these films. And then the anticipated situationship book and the dates will is what they officially drop 2021. They've been waiting for years, you know, and I tease them with stories. They be like, is that a real story? I'm like, yeah. And the reason why it shocks them is because, like I said, that's the one part of my life I don't talk about. But I'm like the love guru. They come to me for, about advice about love, life, and relationships. I've been doing that for over a decade. I started with being an advice column for a magazine, and then I started putting it into my radio. And then all my music is about love and romance. But the funny thing is, I've actually never been in a relationship. And they're like, how is that possible? So they're like, your whole life and career don't make sense now. I'm like, it's fine. But then I was like, I'm gonna write a book explaining it. I'm like, I've never been in a relationship, but I've been in some situationships that just never
Mm.
made it to that title. And I explain what happened and why it never made it to that next level. You know what I'm saying? And they've been waiting for this book forever. But I'm like, I want to start
Ever,
off
ever,
forever, ever,
This might,
ever,
ever,
ever.
this
ever.
might, this might be about 10 volumes then.
Huh?
This might be about 10 volumes in this book then.
How many people you think I dated?
Uh,
What
None, because you said you haven't.
No, like
One for each job at least a year. You met him in radio, you met him with music, so you have a lot of options there.
I do.
You
That's why
do.
I tell people I've never felt alone or like lonely or nothing like that because there's always somebody around. You know what I'm saying? And the situationship is main stories, but then the dates from hell is a little random hangout. I'd be like, oh my God, this is like team too much. This is team too much, team too much. But each book will always going to end with a letter to my future mister. Be like, look, I'm irritated that you're not here yet, but I understand why you're not here yet because I had to go through this so, you know, I can be even more prepared for you in the future.
That's a whole nother piece as well. The other
Absolutely.
piece is I don't know how long this interview is because Mr. Antwon won't tell me, but I'm going to go with the as far as dating and you are you with all of that you do,
Mhm.
is that tricky? Can a man handle all of that?
I honestly realized a lot of them can't. You know, they can't like this one guy I was talking to. He get upset because I was like busy for like 3 days. Oh, what? You just forgot about me? I'm like, no, fool, I'm an entertainer. I'm busy. Like you knew that when we first started talking. Another guy was like, I can't date you. I'm like, why? Because I'm gonna like you too much. I said, what's wrong with that? He was like, you're too popular. I don't want to think of all these men in your face.
It takes a certain type of guy to
Yeah,
even
that
approach
makes
you.
you insecure. But as I grow older, What I look for actually changes. I tell people it's not always about looks to me, features, none of that stuff. I could never be stigmatized. Like all that stuff is irrelevant to a certain degree, right? It's something else special that I'm looking for that I haven't had a man have as of yet. And that is to know how to handle a rare breed like myself, like my clothing line, emotions. Because if I'm always happy and I'm always positive, the moment I'm upset or emotional, I have to know that you can handle that. I'm gonna ask you to save the day. I just gotta know if you know how to handle that accordingly. Some dudes don't know how to have a conversation. They don't know, like, you're gonna be all right, you're gonna be straight. I don't want to hear that. Or look at the bright side. I'm like, you can't talk to me like a regular person because I'm not a regular person. You have to know how to communicate with me. And if we all have a situation, do you know how to communicate? Do you know how to be an adult? Do you know how to be respectful? Do you know how to hear and listen and understand and digest? Because I don't fuss, I don't yell, I don't argue, I don't have confrontations, I don't do that stuff. My thing is, we're two adults, we should know how to communicate with one another. If you are my partner, I should be comfortable enough to have a conversation with you and not have to walk on eggshells. If I have to walk on eggshells, you and I is not meant to be together. Period. But
Period.
that's
She said it. She said it. She said it.
period.
I'm the opposite. My book would be I'm in a relationship. Still.
I love it. That's beautiful.
Shut it, Mr. Antwon.
And you're happy, right?
I am. I am happy. And that's why so many people don't understand why we're not married. It's because I'm happy.
You know what? I get that. I honestly get that. Growing up in a Christian home, we are trained to
Grow up and get married.
get married. Yeah. So that whole traditional thing. But as I grow older and go through experiences, I'm at that point now that even when it comes to children, it's no longer a part of my dream.
I have to. Right.
Like it was there for many years, at least 30 years, and I'm like, I'm okay with it now. It's not a big deal. I know get emotional. I'm not down for less than a woman because I've never bared children. I mother so many people. I'm good, right? But when it comes to, I'm like, I still want to be married, but now I'm at the point, it's not about marriage. It's not about a piece of paper. It's just really finding that one person that just gets me, and we can just be happy together. Because at the end of the day, it's only about how strong the unit is, not just
Right.
the facade. So
Totally understand.
I get that. And that's what's all about life experiences. You start to learn more and you start to understand things. Why is he laughing?
Because he wants to officiate my wedding ceremony to Joe.
Won't you go on one of them websites and just put up there for hire and then marry somebody else? Long as he's happy, that's all that matters. Long as Joe's happy, that's all that matters.
Right. And it's a lot. It's like I am, like you said the word, I am not a regular person. So that can be exhausting at times for the person that's closer to you. Some kind of way when you move in with a guy but you were dating, it changes. When you get engaged and you live with the guy, it changes. When you were engaged and you get married, it changes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to stay familiar with the piece that I know.
Blah, blah, blah. It's like giving like certain things like guidelines. Well, you got to realize we're married now. So, but it's all about having that right person. A union is only two people. Everyone else's opinion is not really supposed to matter.
Let me tell you something. When I found out Joe and Nina were officially dating, we were at an event. And I can't remember the spot out on Liberty Road. But I wanted to pull Joe in the bathroom and say, bro, do you know what the hell you're getting yourself into? Dealing with this.
He does not pay attention just enough so I don't burn him out. He knows how to, that's her and that's what she's doing.
That's why it's worked this long. That's
right.
Well, that's the thing. I get it. People have traditional values, and I do too, to a certain degree. I still believe in certain old-fashioned courting and everything. If that happens to me, the man that's supposed to be, if he wants to get married, then okay, I'm not against it. But if he's the type like, as long as I got you and you got me, we good, then okay. A lot of stuff is more for show. A lot of it is more business when you really break it down. So it's all about what them two want, not what everyone else feels that you should have. And that's a lot of people's problem. They always doing it for show for other people. It's not about everybody else. Ain't that right, Huggy? It's not about everybody else.
But when the time comes, you're gonna fly Nina into India or wherever you are at that time,
Right.
and she's
Yeah,
gonna,
wherever I'm at the time, that's accurate.
and she's gonna do your reception. And then I think if you end up divorced down the line, she can probably take care of that too. If I'm not mistaken, right?
I have a waiting to exhale party. I guess that falls under that. I mean, like I could do whatever. We have a party for that bear for real. Get all your bears because you got about 5, and you can do the voices for all of them. So yeah, we can get creative. We definitely can do that.
Absolutely, but there's not going to be any divorces. That's never the goal.
Right. That's why it's taking this process.
You
Right.
know, I even asked my father, I'm like, if I do get married, are you going to walk me down the aisle? Or are you going to like be the pastor of it? Like, what's your role? Are you going to walk me down and then turn around? Like, what you trying to do? You know what I'm saying? But
he can walk you down while he's speaking the words next to you.
Exactly. Or my little brother can walk. Well, he's not little no more, but he can walk me down and I don't know. But I'm just like, I'm not thinking about that stuff because that's the problem now. We're always thinking about what society wants us to do. That it brainwashes us. I've been boy crazy since I was in preschool, right? And it wasn't until this year I freed my mind of being guy crazy. And I never felt so free. But then they still be blocked because I'm lit. Quest effect is real. It really is. But I'm not thinking about that anymore. I'm just making sure I'm good mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. That's most important. I've been to Quest since the 8th grade. I'm still trying to figure out Tara. I'm trying to get to know her and date her and make sure she's still good because I haven't seen her in years.
What's your sign, Tara?
Oh, I'm a Libra.
Makes sense.
Thank you. What you mean?
You just had a birthday.
I did. I celebrate for 5 weeks every year.
5 weeks? 90 days. 90 days.
90 days is a little too much.
Well, something happened a little different this year. It cut off a lot of that, and I was so relieved.
I'm sorry.
No, I was relieved. Do you know what it's like to party for 90 days on top of already partying?
She's really not exaggerating when she says
no. No. Let me sleep.
I definitely believe it. I do.
One last question before we let you get out of here. Like, how much of a difference is there between Tara and T-Quest?
That's an interesting question. I actually wrote a poem about that called Tara versus T-Quest, where
You know it by heart? You want to recite it now?
No, I don't know about her. That's another thing. I'm supposed to get back into spoken word and doing all that stuff. But it's when Tara looks at T-Quest, she envies her because T-Quest is so outspoken and vibrant. You can't tell her nothing. She's on top of the world. That confidence just oozes out of her. Something Tara always wanted to be. But then when T-Quest looks at Tara, she envies her because she's the type that people respect even more. She's more of like ladylike and calm. So they're kind of envious of each other, and it's just weird. I'm like, because hello, you're the same person, But I'm like, the moment I find the balance between Tara and T-Quest, it's gonna be something special. And now in this year and this season, I'm finding the balance between the two, and life is changing in so many incredible ways. And I'm just like, it's about time.
Let me ask you this thing. Do you go to sleep as Tara, and then as soon as you wake up the next morning, because you have so many things to do, the T-Quest persona is automatically turned on, so to speak?
T-Quest is still a high percentage.
Okay.
Because I literally start the moment I wake up, and I stop the moment before I go to sleep. But I'm trying to balance it where right before I go to sleep, I do put my phone on mute so I'm not disturbed when I'm sleeping. So I'm taking baby steps to balance it so I'm not so burnt out by the end of the day. Because I could be on my computer doing T-Quest stuff, not realizing I've been doing it for 15 hours in a whole day. Body all numb, breaking down, starving to death. Like it's craziness. But I'll get there. But I don't want to be Tara versus T-Quest or T-Quest versus Tara. I just want to end up being just Tara T-Quest and finding that proper balance, especially as the leader that I am.
I was gonna say, so y'all notice she keeps saying the word balance, and that's that whole Libra thing that
Yep.
I totally get it. I totally get it. Well, I know you got a busy day tomorrow. You're gonna be traveling and all of that, and I want you to have safe travels. And like I truly appreciate you not only doing this, but just like we've talked almost every day, even if it was just for a few minutes. Pretty much since we've connected, and I appreciate just the willingness to say, hey, this is what you need to do, blah 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 blah. And
Mhm.
looking forward to whatever connections and work we may do in the future. I am still technically a fleet member, so if you want
Yo,
to
we're
come
gonna get
in,
you back activated the right way, and I'm gonna teach you how to do it. Okay, I can teach you how to
yes,
do
and
that.
that's
But
exactly.
we're gonna get you right because you got a
Exactly.
good
I
relationship.
appreciate that. But
Mhm.
before we get you out of here, because I know you started packing like 6 days ago, 4 days ago, but I'm quite sure you're not fully packed yet.
No, there's nothing in my suitcase, and I gotta leave 4 o'clock in the
There's
morning.
nothing in your suitcase. You just said like,
No, I said I was doing laundry, so I had
no, that's not what you. I'm
to
gonna let you have that, but that's not what you said the other day. You said you were gonna start packing
yeah.
early.
And the first thing of packing is make sure you
It's
have
Uh,
laundry.
clean.
Right.
There
It's
you go,
laundry.
party girl. You know, I did the first step.
It's
got you,
laundry.
got you. But okay, so now I know you haven't packed the thing. We definitely got to get you out of here. Um, I want you to give one word of advice or encouragement, and then I want you to let everyone know how they can follow you and download your app and your website and all of that stuff.
Wow, that's what I call it. Wow, words of
Words
wisdom.
of wisdom. Yes, exactly.
Okay, I'm gonna keep it
Not that
short.
I stole that from you or anything, but
What you say?
I said not that I stole that from you, but yes, I like for people to in there. I like for people to end with just giving some encouraging.
Absolutely, absolutely. I just want to tell people at the end of the day, COVID, the pandemic is real. But if you are blessed and honored to see another day, you genuinely have to cherish it. I talk to people because I say I'm a therapist too. So I talk to people every day, and they're like, this is happening, this is happening. I'm not going to coddle you. You got to realize this stuff is real. People are dying is real. People being sick is real. People stressing, all this stuff is real. It's all about what you do with it. You can have your moment because you're human, but don't allow it to last longer than it should. Because it's not that we only have one life to live. No, you live every day, so you have to cherish every day. And every day you wake up is another honor, another chance to make things right. And if you don't get it right, it is okay because you're human. You're supposed to make mistakes. It's all about what you do after the fact. You may get angry and have like one of those moments that you're going to regret later, but if you can make it right after the fact, do that. Don't dwell. Like life is short, but remember to live every day. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate you guys having me on your platform. I enjoy being a radio personality, but anybody who really knows me, I enjoy being on the other side because now
Oh,
that I
maybe
speak,
on the side, exactly.
I know I have a lot of layers and a lot of stuff that I can touch people with and help them with. So whenever I get a chance to speak on this side, it's always an honor and a blessing. But you guys can find me on all social media platforms at TQuestGLM. You can download my TQuest mobile app in your Google Play Store and your App Store for free. And you can sign up for my mail list on my website, battleontheworld.com. You can find all my services on the back page under contact. And then at the same time, I am a music artist, so you can go stream my music on all social media platforms and streaming networks at TO. And they always say Grace is coming up next month on the app and on the website. So you have to really stay tuned with it and turn the notifications on so you can see the surprises that I'm gonna jump up there. I'm gonna be randomly hitting up fans, randomly hitting up their cash apps, just like yo, lunch on me.
Oh, I'm gonna send my cash app to you now.
Anyways, old party girl, it's been a pleasure meeting you. You know what I'm saying? And I hope this is not our last time communicating, you know.
Well,
I said I hope this is not the last time we communicate.
we definitely need to hook up. We could have some very similar and empowering conversations on behalf.
Hold up. I'll communicate every time she's in the car and one of your drops comes on and she calls you that old.
The other people. But now she's the T. So I feel better about this. It was very not challenging, but we needed an opportunity, Mr. Antwon and I, to just do it. And you were very instrumental. This is really our first show with our first guest. And it's definitely been a pleasure spending some quality time with you. I think I'm backwards because I'm trying to get near the heat. Y'all didn't even hear that conversation. I was like, bring it back. But on behalf of Access Granted, of course, the original party girl, it definitely was a pleasure hanging out with you today. And we wish you success, that you hit all those bullets on your checklist, that all your wishes come true, and you continue to be magical. Magical.
Thank you.
And stay safe when you travel out to the West. There's a lot of stuff going on in Colorado that you may or may not want to indulge in. Just stay safe.
No, I'm not indulging in that.
Social distance and all of that good stuff. All right?
Hey, wait. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of that, Nina.
Okay.
I'll be staying away from everything you guys are thinking of.
Definitely, and I'll definitely be in touch with you. Maybe while you're gone, but definitely when you get back. Definitely.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I'm still gonna be handling business. So if you need me for anything, don't like. Well, you know, you was on vacation. Bump that. If I'm not on a tropical island naked, then you can contact me. If I'm just in the States chilling, you can contact me. Okay, my phone is on. Period.
Appreciate that.
One more thing. Before we leave, can you do an impromptu drop for Access Granted?
Absolutely. Are you gonna record it? No.
We'll get it again.
Okay. Well, this is the one and only T Plus, and I've just been on Access Granted with Mr. Antwon, an old party girl.
Wow.
Absolutely. If you guys want to drop or promo one, I got you. Send me up, okay?
I got you. I know you're going out there for business, but have some fun too, okay?
I'll try.
All right. My girl T Quest, man. We appreciate you. Nina.
Yes. What did you do?
We did it.
Yay!
Look, so just real quick, man, and then I'm gonna let people get out of here. The premise of what I'm trying to do with this show for 5.5, 6 years, my goal was to show the country, and then at some point it ended up being the world because we had viewers and listeners from other countries, that there was more to Baltimore than what you see on the media and, so on and so forth. Like, I was thinking about it today, like we can get Geraldo Rivera to come down on the corner of North and Pennsylvania when it's a riot coming on, but when there's positive stuff going on, people like that are nowhere to be found. And we did that for 6 years, and I feel like we conquered that world. It's like, we have our thing set now. So with Access Granted, what I want to do now is bring the world to Baltimore. I want to take our core fans, our core audience, our core listeners, and I want to show them all of the other stuff that's going on outside. So, like I said before, I'm not saying that I will never interview a Baltimore artist or a Baltimore whoever, whatever it may be again, because this is our home base. We always got to show this love. But now we're trying to take what we did with Baltimore Flavor Radio and take it to the next level. And for that reason, we don't have a set schedule. We don't have a set day and time that we're going to be here, because when you're working with people from around the country and you're in different time zones and so on and so forth, they might not be available every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. You feel me? But we're going to figure out a way to make this work. And I just want to guarantee. Yeah, I want to guarantee. Because I know that you're going to support me and I'm going to support you, that we're going to take this platform and we're going to take some things to a higher plateau. I have a word that I said to Joe earlier, but I'm not going to say that on air, but we're going to do some things a little bit different. You're going to see some different people than you see on some other platforms. And that's my goal with this, man. So I appreciate you. When I talked to you last week, you were like, I don't know what the hell I want to do. So I said, until you figure out what you're going to do, come on, you rocking with me, and we gonna rock this out. So as always, man, because we've been like this since.
These fingers are like 4 feet tall, so we've been like this. And I'm still not gonna behave. I love us together, so I figure, like, who better for the job to get the job done? I'm excited about your new journey, and I'm here for it.
Yeah,
I'm still not gonna behave though.
Yeah, we're never gonna behave. But we got some connections to some people, man, and we're gonna really surprise some people. So until the next time, whenever that may be, it could be tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning, or it could be next week. But we're definitely
it will not be tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm just letting you know. I'm sick of you already. Okay.
But again, man, I want to give a shout out to my girl Tipsy Fiend. Her information is scrolling across the bottom as we speak. If you want a cocktail to go, log into www.tipsy.com. And she's very good at what she does, and that's the reason that I wanted to make sure I supported her on this platform, man. But I want to thank everybody again that tuned in on Facebook Live, man, and we'll be back soon. As soon as we know we're coming back, you will know that we're coming back.
Well, I know.
Yeah, I might tell you. I don't know.
Surprise!
Cousin, no storm. I kick him in his chin because he didn't hop on the broadcast, but I know he had other stuff to do. So
he's in the other, yeah.
He's in the room with the heat.
Because y'all didn't hear me, because I scooched the door open and I'm like, you don't bring that guy. But yeah, I got the heat now. I got the heat.
Guys. All right, man. Until next time, man. We'll see y'all when we see y'all, man. Stay safe. Y'all know starting on Friday, stuff is closing down again and all of that kind of stuff, man. This pandemic ain't going nowhere no time soon. So wear the damn mask and social distance and all that good stuff, man, so that we can get through this and get back out there and get the partying and having a good time like we used to, man. Definitely. All right? Nina, love you.
Deuces.
Love you back.